In past IQ videos and texts, we have repeatedly discussed the expansion of nuclear power. This is because, contrary to what many German media portray, the world is actually in nuclear power fever. And only Germany and a few other countries are saying goodbye to their nuclear power plants. This first became clear to many in December 2023 when numerous heads of state and government met for the UN Climate Change Conference in Dubai. Numerous alliances and strategies had already been forged in the run-up to the conference and were ultimately signed. 130 countries pledged to successively increase their energy efficiency. The Coalition for High Ambition Multi-Level Partnerships for Climate Action pledge promised to continue taking strong measures to prevent global warming from exceeding 1.5 degrees. And as many as 110 countries, including Germany, want to triple the amount of renewable energy in their countries by 2030. In this respect, everything was going as expected in the fight against carbon dioxide and the switch to renewable energies, until another declaration became public. 22 countries, above all the USA, Great Britain and France, called for a massive expansion of nuclear power by 2050. The proportion of nuclear energy is also to be tripled in order to further reduce carbon dioxide emissions and combat climate change. A storm swept through the German media. The German tabloid Bild spoke of the nuclear hammer. Newspaper Die Welt ran the headline, "Climate Summit becomes the birthplace of a global nuclear alliance." By mid-November, there were still 6 countries, France, the UK, the USA, Sweden, South Korea and the United Arab Emirates, and over the course of the following week, 16 more countries joined in. Bulgaria, Canada, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Finland, Ghana, Hungary, Jamaica, Japan, Moldova, Mongolia, Morocco, the Netherlands, Poland, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia and Ukraine. In other words, a wide variety of countries were represented, some of which do not even have nuclear power. Ghana, for example, wants to build its first nuclear reactor by 2030. This initiative was presumably spearheaded by the USA and its climate protection envoy, John Kerry. Kerry had repeatedly spoken out in favor of expanding nuclear energy as early as 2023. Back in 2017, 3 years before he became Special Envoy for Climate Protection, he stated in a lecture at MIT that he had changed his mind about nuclear power and now considered it a good way to achieve net zero. Kerry may have thus announced a U-turn in climate protection. After all, the US had relied heavily on wind energy over the last 15 years, while the share of nuclear energy had fallen slightly to around 18%. In this respect, the U-turn came as little surprise, which also becomes clear when looking at the other countries. France, with its 62% share of nuclear energy in the electricity supply, has maintained its nuclear power plants for decades and is even adding new plants. With the exception of Switzerland, all countries with a significant share of nuclear energy in their electricity supply have signed the declaration. The fact that China and Russia, which also have nuclear reactors, did not sign their declaration should not be overestimated at this point, as international tensions may have played a role. Both countries are currently planning the further expansion of nuclear energy and are even building new plants. The case of Japan, which also signed the declaration, is particularly interesting. With a share of around 7% after the shutdown of numerous nuclear power plants, they will therefore be relying on more nuclear energy again. The move also came as little surprise within the European Union. In mid-2022, the European Parliament had declared gas and nuclear energy as green energy by a narrow majority, much to Germany's dismay. It is therefore only the next logical step for the majority of European countries to expand their share of nuclear power plants. Everything indicates that we are seeing a revival of nuclear power. Not only is nuclear power superior to other forms of energy generation from a technical perspective, since it produces almost no carbon dioxide, it undermines calls for more renewable energy in the context of carbon dioxide reduction. How did the media react in this country after the initial shock? Not at all. At the beginning of December, the reports came thick and fast, but after that there was silence. The reactions that followed, such as here in Süddeutsche Zeitung, were along the lines that nuclear power was on the decline for various reasons. This is an assessment that is often read in Germany, but one that is not necessarily shared. The fact that we are not alone in our pro-nuclear stance, for whatever reason, is shown above all by the declaration of the 22 states. Strictly speaking, it is actually the other way around. Germany may be a pioneer in the expansion of renewables and therefore much more expensive energy, But when it comes to nuclear energy, we are, as is often the case, taking a special path among industrialized countries, which may ultimately leave us standing alone in the rain. If you enjoyed our video, please like our video and subscribe to our channel.